planners and bullet journals, art projects, organized planner chic.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Organized Planner Chic. I'm Lucinda, and for today's episode of Create Art with Me, I've got a very budget-friendly DIY for you guys. Okay, so let's start with just an inexpensive watercolor palette, which I got at back to school time for between $1 and $1.99. Really inexpensive, and I knew the watercolors inside weren't going to be great, but I really liked the tin a lot, and so I thought I might reuse that for something. Don't know what for sure. Maybe I'll figure out some watercolor way, and I did. So I was trying to come up with something so I could go out to the park and watercolor and use some really good watercolors, but not a giant palette, and not the really ones that didn't work very well. So this is what I did. I did what I do often, and I walked around my house looking for things that I don't use or need to throw away that I could repurpose, and I did. So I'll show you guys. Yay, look at that. All right, so these were both eyeshadow palettes from e.l.f. I use e.l.f. products, and they were one was one that, you know, you're not supposed to use them after a year. Believe it or not, makeup does get too old. And then one I knew were colors that I didn't really like and hardly ever used. And so I just took a regular butter knife and dug in between there, and some of them took a little more effort, and popped those little rectangles of eyeshadow out. And then I took the regular tubes of watercolor, and I know I have a few here so I can show you what I mean. So I just took some watercolor tubes. Now this one's white, and I don't have white in here right now, but I took these and I squeezed watercolor inside the rectangles. And you know, it's watercolor, so there's a lot of water in it, of course. And what I decided to do to make sure I had plenty, because I did try this one time before, yesterday, all in the same day, but when first time I did it, I only filled it up to, you know, about even, maybe a little hump for the height of the rectangles. But then when it dried, which is what you want it to do so you can take it with you and it doesn't get all over the place, when it dried down to almost nothing, for like half of the space. So then the next time I did it, where it was like double, it was a really high mountain over it, and it took 24 hours to dry. When I did it the first time, it took 2 days, or maybe 2.5 days, to dry up to this point, because it's still just a little sticky. On some of it, it's just a tiny bit sticky, but it took 2 to 2.5 days to dry enough for me to make it where I could transport it to use as watercolor. So that's what I did. And then you can use the little glass pieces. Now I did before try to do the same thing on the glass pieces. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to work because of the surface, but I had to try, and so it didn't. It just, you know, didn't stay in there at all. It was just dried completely up where I couldn't even press it down. Like this, I can kind of press it down to make sure it stays in there. But that, it was just completely dry and hard and popped up, and it wasn't going to work. Okay, and then I also, and I'm going to try not, because some of them, like a couple of them, they're in here and they're dry, but they don't have any stickiness underneath. So whenever I turn it over, the pieces come out. So I'm going to try to keep it from doing that. So then I tried to use hot glue to make these magnets. I got these magnets at Walmart. It was, let's see, I think there's like 8 pieces in a package. 8 of these circles in a package for $1.98. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 to 10. And they're really good, strong magnets. And I tried to use hot glue to make them stick to the back of these eyeshadow cases, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, of course, I broke off the top of the case, you know, that clear lid. But then the hot glue wouldn't stay. It just kept, when it dried, it just would come right off. And then this doesn't stay every time either. One of them doesn't on both of them. One of them stays and one of them doesn't. I don't know why. So this, I just use adhesive squares, and like I said, one stays and one doesn't, but I just stick it back on there. And I can't do it just one unless maybe I put it in the middle, because then it just makes the, you know, palette teeter-totter. So there's some of that stuck to my finger, and we just stick it back on in there. Here we go. All right, and so they fit in here nicely, and now it's not enough room. I can't see that way. It's not enough room to fit a watercolor brush. So this was the brush that came with the original watercolor set that was in here. And I just leave it in here just for giggles because I know I'm never going to use it probably because I don't like how it flares. All right, and then this was just a water bottle cap. And it has a magnet on the back as well. See, some of that dropped out. We just stick it back in there. And I just filled that with some, not as high of a mountain of watercolor paint, but I did put that on there. And so there's enough room for me to get, you know, one more lid in here. And then what's also cool about these, and I'll show you what I have this bag for in a minute, but what's also cool about doing this is these little eyeshadow palettes will fit in here too. So I can do another one, and I may just buy a cheap dollar one in colors I know I won't use from Dollar Tree or something, and make another one, because this set of tubes that I have in watercolor come in 12, and I only have 9. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 9 in here. But I could have some more. I could get the rest of them, the other 9, 10, 11, 12. I could get, you know, the other 3 in here, and maybe just more of another one, and they would go in here. So see, yay! Now what? Oh, I hope I had that all in frame. Okay. All right. So now my water brush won't fit in there, but what I decided to do to be able to bring everything with me, just in one little case. This back on here. All right, to just take with me to go to the park and watercolor is, so got that lid on there, and then eventually I will put another eyeshadow kit, or I can do some water bottle caps in here as well. I'm not a big water bottle person, drinking person. I try to just use water filters because I'm all about, you know, trying to be more green. But I went to a gallery and the lady gave me a bottle of water, so I did have one cap. So anyway, what I decided to do is, this is an old pencil case that I got from Dollar Tree in back to school season one year, and they still have these at some stores. I still see these every now and then. And so what I decided to do, so I can go to the park and just have everything in this one little kit, is just stick this in there. All right, and then this one, I would have some watercolor in there. I hope you can see everything, okay? And then, so I wouldn't have these, but I'm putting these in here to remember that I need to get some, put these in another palette, which will go inside of here. Oh, and this little tin came from Dollar Tree for $1, okay? And then I have some more brushes with me, just in case I need them, okay? And then I have my one watercolor brush. This one's a medium. I need to get a small and a large also, so I'll be doing that soon. And then they just all fit in this one case very nicely. Oh, and in the kit I have this too. I forgot to put this little, what do you call this type of fabric? It's that material, that polyfiber. Is it called polyfiber? Microfiber, sorry, microfiber, that doesn't dry dishes well at all, but it's very good for watercolor. So that goes into the kit too. I almost forgot to show you guys how well the watercolors work. So, you know, it's watercolor, so you just need to activate it with a little bit of water. So let's do that real quick. And I'll just paint a little bit on here. And I apologize, I know this table is shaking. I need to get a new setup. And I will do that soon, I promise. So what color do I want to use? I think I want to use, this is Hello Sunshine, so let's do a little bit of yellow. Let's do this yellow right here. I'm just going to put a little bit of water right there. And there we go. Yay! It just works just fine. Just like any watercolor. All right, you guys, well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to reach 1,200 subscribers this year, and I believe I was at 1,037 this morning. Yay! That's so awesome. So anything you guys can do to help would be amazing. Tell your friends and family. And I want to remind all my subscribers that you get an additional discount from my Lucinda Dory Planners Etsy shop. And that discount is in the comments below. And there's a new one every month. And until next time, everyone, happy planning.